We're back on golf today. We flash back to 2006. It was the biggest moment of Geoff Ogilvy's career. In the final round of the U.S. Open, made a couple of pars. 17 chipped in, 18 got up and down for his first major at a tough Wingfoot West. He won by a single shot, breaking Phil Mickelson's heart among others. Now, earlier this year, Geoff was named as the captain for the International President's Cup team for next year's competition at Medina. Ogilvy played on 3 straight international teams, 07, 09, and 11, and served as a captain's assistant 4 different times.
And those are notes on a pretty impressive resume. 7-6-1 career record as a player in those 3 President's Cup appearances, 8 PGA Tour victories, including that US Open Damon mentioned, 3 WGC events as well, and of course the one that means a lot to him, 2010 Australian Open champion. We're pleased to be joined now by Geoff Ogilvy, the captain of the international team for the President's Cup. Geoff, I'm curious if you watched the Ryder Cup just as a learning as to what the American team did, what worked, what didn't, how they might pivot for what you're going to see next year. Did you take anything away from it?
Yeah, look, I watched it as a golf fan first and foremost because I think the Ryder Cup's a fantastic event to watch, and and it proved again you never really know what's going to happen until the end. It was an incredible event. Yeah, when I watched it with a couple of hats on, I watched the approach that Luke and the European team make to that event. I think it's pretty admirable and impressive, sort of the lengths to the details, and sort of that no stone unturned approach is really impressive from their respect. And from the US team, they would have learned a lot. Their players are so great. I mean, they played very well in a challenging environment for everybody. So, yeah, I watched both teams, both captains. I've historically going back and watching old President's Cups and old Ryder Cups as well to sort of learn the same sorts of things, because I don't think there's any perfect way to do these team events. And I think every team does some good things and some things that maybe they wish they could do again in a different way. So I tried to learn from just the event as a whole and from both teams and both captains.
How about from Luke specifically taking a team on the road? I mean, he was dialed in, had the right fragrances for the players on their pillows, had the signage in the team room and saunas, got to New York early. Are there some specific things that can help your team be more battle-tested in terms of body clocks, sending doctors ahead of the time, hiring a chef? I mean, how granular, Geoff, can you get?
Well, as I said, like you mentioned with Luke, I mean, I think he went into some sort of details and that no stone unturned further than anyone even imagined was possible. I mean, there's a lot that goes into these events. You've got 12 guys coming from 12 different places, coming in. They're all very used to turning up when they want. They're used to eating what they want, waking up when they want, going to bed when they want. So to try to get everybody on the same page for a week is a challenge. And the lengths that the European team and Luke went to were amazing. Certainly there's some learnings there. The playing, we've learned historically over these cups that the not playing for 4 or 5 weeks, which can happen with the schedule of these tournaments, isn't probably advantageous for your team. You'd love to get your team all playing out tournaments before the tournament. And then obviously, can we get them all playing together and staying together? And can we spend as much time as we can together before the week? Seems to be usually good for a positive outcome in the tournament. So we're looking at everything like that. I mean, and what's possible to do. Can we get them to Chicago early? Could we all go and play a golf tournament a couple of weeks before together as a team? I think there was a lot to learn from their approach, how they, as you said, I mean, going into probably the toughest environment in the world to beat an amazingly talented team, and the lengths that they went to sort of make their players happy and comfortable and have no obstacles in their way to perform their best was impressive. And there was something to learn from there. I don't know if we can go to quite the same lengths, but we're going to try.
There's some challenges for you in this role, Geoff, because so much of your life is based in Australia and you don't play as much competitive golf now as you used to. Is that something you have to change? Do you feel as though in the next year you're going to spend more time out around these guys on the PGA Tour or get inside the ropes a little more often?
A bit of both, I think. Yeah, I would think I'm going to spend pretty much the next 12 months in the US. I think if you learn anything from these team events, that relationships are very important. You can't just sort of all get into the same room on Monday morning of the tournament and be a team by Thursday or Friday morning. I think you've got to. It's a constant thing now. These teams, the international team really is a group of guys that are always the international team now for a 2-year period, not just one when they turn up for the tournament. So I think part of that is me getting out on tour much more often. If I can play a few, that would be great. And I'll certainly be looking to do that. When I don't play, I'll certainly be heading out there a lot more, just getting around the guys. I obviously know some of the older guys on the team. I mean, I don't know the team, but some of the older guys on the team I've played a lot of golf with. But some of the younger guys I probably don't quite have those relationships with. So it's up to me over the next 12 months to create that, get the guys together as much as we can, and just form those sort of bonds that you can only do by spending periods of time together. So, yeah, certainly I'll be in the US for the majority of next year, I imagine.
Geoff, in my time covering the President's Cup, there have been times when the international team has had the best player in the world or close to. I'm talking about Shark or Nick Price, VJ, Ernie, Goosen, Jason Day, Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama. Right now, you don't have a player inside the top 15. You have 2 inside the top 30, Hideki and Corey Connors. Meanwhile, the Americans have 16 players inside the top 30. Is that not a concern 1 year out, or is that a little bit of a trouble spot 1 year out?
I actually think I mean, the cyclical nature of golf careers are such that no one is really at their best all the time. And there's a few outliers like the Scotty Schefflers and the Tigers that seem to always be at the top of their game. But for the most part, people go up and down with their career. And we're in a little bit of a lull, I would imagine. If we had to play the tournament now, I don't think it would be ideal for our team. But, I mean, they're all very motivated for next year. And these team events have a way of bringing good golf out of players. And so hopefully we can sort of get, like you said, like our Hidekis and our Corey Connors and our Adam Scotts and our Jason Days to sort of get into form next year. These tournaments are form is very important. And hopefully we certainly, you don't want to be peaking now a year out from the tournament. So hopefully the international guys will have a good next 12 months, play really well. There's a lot of golf tournaments between now and then, a lot of big tournaments, a lot of majors. And there's no panic stations yet. Clearly on paper right now, the teams look like there's a bit of separation, but hopefully by the time we get circle around to Montana next year, that our guys will be informed and the rankings will look a little bit more balanced.
Would it be beneficial to the President's Cup, Geoff, if the PGA Tour did not own both sides of it, that if there was a competitive business interest on the international side that's helping you make decisions and deciding upon resources for your team rather than the entire event operating under one framework? Basically, if it was a little bit more, I suppose, like the Ryder Cup in that sense?
I think that's an interesting thing to look at for sure. Clearly, the one organisation sort of managing or running both teams creates conflicts on both sides. Not conflicts, but less separation, I guess, in sort of being able to sort of tailor the team to sort of our flavour, and it'd be the same for Brant as well on the US side. So that's probably an interesting thing to look at going forward. The PGA Tour obviously is very motivated to make the tournament as good as they can, being the President's Cup, and it's a fantastic event. Everyone who's ever involved or sort of on the ground, I think, at a President's Cup has an appreciation for how special a tournament it is. So that's maybe something that gets looked at going down the road, a bit more independence to the teams, and so we can sort of drive it the direction that we want to and have a little bit more control. But that's not really where it's at the moment. But we have quite a lot of say in the flavour of the international team and how we approach it and some of the stuff we can do. And Brant has the same freedoms to approach it his way too. I mean, to structure it a different way would be interesting going down the road. But at the moment, we have plenty of freedoms, not quite the same as the European and the PGA of America structure, but certainly something to look at in the future for sure.
How about the golf course itself, Geoff? Your design team did a 2-year project there, part renovation, part restoration, part redesign. It's no longer, as Golf Digest said, this narrow, restrictive wooded golf course is more broad and open and dynamic. Can that be of aid to the international team, both your knowledge of the golf course and the work you did, but also the results of that work on the golf course?
I don't know. I mean, I've been asked this question a few times. I think clearly right now our team would have the advantage because I know the course pretty well, intimately, really, I guess. I mean, being part of the design, you get to know every hole pretty well. And we have our sort of design intent, or sort of our thoughts about sort of what we think is going to be the best way around the golf course, and the spots you want to avoid, and the sort of shots you want to try to hit. But I think by the time we get to Thursday of the President's Cup next time, I mean, the way analytics are now, how good the yardage books are, how good the caddies are, Brant's going to have a lot of chances to have a look at the course and bring some guys out here and sort of study the place. I think by the time we get to the first team of the tournament, I think any advantage that we would have right now would be nullified, because professional golfers are very good at learning golf courses quickly. But it's nice at this point that I can sort of share a lot of the stuff that we went through and show them sort of what we did with the golf course. And it's going to help with our guys sort of feeling a bit of ownership. It's like, well, our captain had a big part of this golf course, and I think that's going to be nice for them to play on a golf course like that. But as I said, as far as a strategic advantage, I think that'll all be nullified by the time we get on the first tee on Thursday.
Well, at a minimum, you might have some Medina members rocking that beautiful black and yellow shield that has become a staple of the international team. It's great to see you, Geoff. We appreciate the time. We look forward to seeing you in Chicago next year.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it.